Top 25 Lockheed Martin Interview Questions and Answers. Lockheed Martin is one of the world's leading aerospace, defense, security, and technology companies. Interviews at Lockheed Martin often focus on technical ability, teamwork, problem-solving, safety, ethics, innovation, communication, and the ability to work in a highly regulated environment. Whether you are applying for engineering, manufacturing, cybersecurity, logistics, project management, finance, or operations, you must show that you can handle responsibility, protect confidential information, follow procedures, and contribute to mission-critical work. These Lockheed Martin interview questions and answers will help you prepare confident, professional responses that match the company's high standards. 1. Tell me about yourself. I have a strong background in technical problem-solving, teamwork, and delivering accurate work in high-pressure environments. In my previous roles, I focused on understanding requirements clearly, following processes carefully, and working with different teams to complete projects on time. I enjoy solving complex challenges, especially when the work has a real-world impact. What interests me about Lockheed Martin is the opportunity to contribute to advanced technology and mission-focused projects. I believe my attention to detail, communication skills, and commitment to quality would help me succeed in this role. 2. Why do you want to work at Lockheed Martin? I want to work at Lockheed Martin because the company is known for innovation, advanced engineering, and supporting important national and global security missions. I am interested in work that requires precision, responsibility, and continuous improvement. Lockheed Martin's projects are not ordinary projects. They directly impact safety, defense, aerospace, and technology development. That makes the work meaningful to me. I also appreciate that the company values teamwork, ethics, and professional growth. I want to contribute my skills to a company where quality and mission success truly matter. 3. What do you know about Lockheed Martin? Lockheed Martin is a major aerospace and defense company that works in areas such as aeronautics, missiles and fire control, space systems, rotary and mission systems, cybersecurity, and advanced technology. The company supports government, defense, and security-related customers with highly complex products and services. I understand that Lockheed Martin places a strong focus on innovation, safety, quality, ethics, and mission success. Because many projects are sensitive and highly regulated, employees must follow procedures carefully and protect confidential information. That type of disciplined environment strongly matches how I like to work. 4. Why are you interested in this position? I am interested in this position because it matches my skills, experience, and career goals. The role requires strong attention to detail, problem-solving, teamwork, and the ability to meet high standards, which are all areas I value. I also like that the position contributes to larger, mission-focused projects rather than isolated tasks. I want to be part of a team where my work has real importance and where accuracy matters. This opportunity would allow me to apply my strengths while continuing to grow in a respected organization like Lockheed Martin. 5. How do you handle working on confidential or sensitive information? I handle confidential or sensitive information with extreme care. I understand that in a company like Lockheed Martin, protecting information is not optional. It is a serious responsibility. I would follow all company policies, security procedures, access controls, and reporting requirements. I would only share information with authorized individuals and only when there is a legitimate business need. I would also avoid discussing sensitive topics in public or unsecured environments. If I ever had uncertainty, I would ask the appropriate security or compliance team before taking action. 6. Describe a time you solved a difficult problem. In a previous role, I worked on a project where we discovered a recurring issue that was delaying completion. Instead of guessing, I gathered data, reviewed the process step by step, and spoke with team members who were directly involved. I identified that the problem came from unclear handoff instructions between two teams. I suggested a checklist and a short confirmation step before each handoff. After the change, delays were reduced and the workflow became more reliable. This experience taught me the value of careful analysis and practical solutions. 7. How do you handle pressure and tight deadlines? I handle pressure by staying organized, prioritizing tasks, and focusing on what must be completed first. When deadlines are tight, I break the work into smaller steps and communicate early if there are risks or blockers. I do not wait until the last minute to ask for help or raise concerns. I also try to stay calm because pressure can lead to mistakes if you rush without thinking. In a mission-focused environment like Lockheed Martin, I understand that speed matters, but quality, safety, and accuracy must never be ignored. 8. Tell me about a time you worked as part of a team. In one project, I worked with a team that included people from different departments. Each person had a different responsibility, so communication was very important. I made sure I understood my role clearly and kept others updated on my progress. When one team member needed support, I helped review the issue so we could stay on schedule. The project was completed successfully because we shared information, respected each other's expertise, and focused on the same goal. This experience showed me that strong teamwork improves both quality and efficiency. 9. How do you ensure accuracy in your work? I ensure accuracy by following established procedures, checking requirements carefully, and reviewing my work before submitting it. I do not rely only on memory, especially when the task involves technical details or compliance requirements. I use checklists, documentation, and quality standards whenever available. If something does not seem clear, I ask questions instead of making assumptions. I also believe peer review can be valuable because another person may catch something I missed. At Lockheed Martin, where quality is critical, I would always prioritize accuracy over shortcuts. 10. What are your greatest strengths? My greatest strengths are attention to detail, problem solving, and reliability. I take pride in doing work correctly and consistently, especially when tasks require accuracy. I am also good at analyzing problems calmly and finding practical solutions instead of reacting emotionally. Another strength is that I take responsibility for my work. If I commit to a task, I make sure it is completed properly or communicate early if there is a challenge. I believe these strengths would help me perform well in Lockheed Martin's high-standard environment. 11. What is your biggest weakness? One weakness I have worked on is that I sometimes spend too much time trying to perfect small details. While attention to detail is important, I have learned that it must be balanced with deadlines and project priorities. To improve, I now focus on understanding which details are critical and which ones are less important. I also use timelines and checkpoints to keep myself on track. This has helped me maintain quality without slowing down the overall workflow. I believe this improvement has made me more effective. 12. How do you handle conflict with a coworker? I handle conflict professionally and respectfully. First, I try to understand the other person's point of view instead of assuming they are wrong. If there is a disagreement, I focus on facts, project requirements, and the best outcome for the team. I prefer to speak directly and calmly with the person involved rather than letting frustration build. If needed, I would involve a supervisor or manager, but only after trying to resolve the issue constructively. My goal is always to protect teamwork, communication, and project success. 13. Describe your experience with safety and compliance. I understand that safety and compliance are essential, especially in industries like aerospace, defense, manufacturing, and engineering. In my previous work, I followed procedures carefully, completed required training, and made sure tasks were done according to standards. I believe compliance is not just paperwork. It protects people, products, customers, and the organization. If I noticed a safety concern or process violation, I would report it through the proper channels. At Lockheed Martin, I would treat safety and compliance as part of my daily responsibility, not an afterthought. 14. How do you prioritize multiple tasks? I prioritize multiple tasks by looking at deadlines, importance, risk, and impact on the overall project. I first identify tasks that are urgent or could block other team members. Then, I organize my work into a clear schedule and update priorities as new information comes in. I also communicate with my manager if priorities conflict so expectations are clear. I try not to multitask in a way that lowers quality. Instead, I focus on completing the most important work carefully and efficiently. 15. Tell me about a time you made a mistake. In a previous role, I once misunderstood a requirement because I did not ask enough clarification questions at the beginning. The mistake was caught during review, and I immediately took responsibility. I corrected the work, informed the relevant team members, and asked for feedback to prevent the same issue from happening again. After that, I made it a habit to confirm requirements before starting important tasks. The experience taught me that asking questions early saves time and improves quality. I see mistakes as learning opportunities when handled honestly. 16. How do you respond to feedback? I respond to feedback with an open and professional mindset. I believe feedback is important because it helps improve performance and prevents repeated mistakes. When someone gives me feedback, I listen carefully, ask clarifying questions if needed, and apply the advice to my work. I do not take constructive criticism personally because the goal is improvement. I also appreciate positive feedback because it shows what I should continue doing. In a company like Lockheed Martin, continuous improvement is important, so I would welcome feedback from managers and teammates. 17. How would you handle a situation where you noticed a process was not being followed? If I noticed that a process was not being followed, I would first make sure I understood the correct procedure. Then I would address the issue professionally and calmly. If it was a simple misunderstanding, I might remind the person or ask a clarifying question. If the situation involved safety, quality, security, or compliance risk, I would report it through the proper channel immediately. I understand that procedures exist for a reason, especially in a company like Lockheed Martin, where small errors can have serious consequences. 18. Tell me about your technical skills. My technical skills include the tools, systems, and methods required for the role, along with the ability to learn new technologies quickly. I am comfortable working with technical documentation, analyzing problems, following structured processes, and using software or systems accurately. I also understand the importance of documenting work clearly so others can review and build on it. Beyond specific tools, I believe strong technical performance requires curiosity, discipline, and continuous learning. I would bring that mindset to Lockheed Martin and stay committed to improving my skills. 19. How do you stay organized at work? I stay organized by using task lists, calendars, documentation, and clear priorities. At the start of a project or workday, I identify what needs to be completed and what deadlines are most important. I also keep notes on decisions, requirements, and follow-up items so nothing gets missed. When working with a team, I make sure updates are clear and timely. Organization is especially important in complex environments because small missed details can cause larger issues. Staying organized helps me deliver consistent and reliable work. 20. Why should Lockheed Martin hire you? Lockheed Martin should hire me because I bring a strong combination of reliability, attention to detail, teamwork, and problem-solving ability. I understand that this company requires employees who can follow procedures, protect sensitive information, communicate clearly, and deliver high-quality work. I take responsibilities seriously and always try to meet or exceed expectations. I am also eager to learn and grow within a mission-focused organization. I believe my work ethic and professional mindset would allow me to contribute positively to the team and support Lockheed Martin's goals. 21. How do you handle changes in project requirements? I handle changes in project requirements by staying flexible and focused on the overall goal. First, I make sure I fully understand the change and how it affects timelines, quality, resources, or other team members. Then I adjust my plan and communicate any risks or questions early. I do not see change as a problem by itself. It is often part of complex work. However, changes must be managed carefully. I would document updates, follow the correct process, and ensure everyone is aligned before moving forward. 22. Describe a time you showed leadership. In a previous project, our team was falling behind because responsibilities were not clearly divided. I took the initiative to organize a short meeting where we reviewed the remaining tasks and assigned ownership. I did not try to control everyone. I simply helped create clarity and momentum. I also checked in with team members to see if they needed support. As a result, the team became more focused and completed the project successfully. This taught me that leadership is not only about title, it is about helping the team succeed. 23. How do you approach learning a new system or process? When learning a new system or process, I start by reviewing official documentation, training materials, and any standard operating procedures. Then I observe how experienced team members use the system in real situations. I like to practice carefully and ask questions when something is unclear. I also take notes so I can build a reliable reference for myself. My goal is not just to learn quickly, but to learn correctly. In a company like Lockheed Martin, I would make sure I understand both the technical steps and compliance expectations. 24. How would you support Lockheed Martin's mission? I would support Lockheed Martin's mission by doing my role with accuracy, responsibility, and professionalism every day. I understand that mission success depends on many people doing their part correctly, even when their individual tasks may seem small. I would follow procedures, protect sensitive information, communicate clearly, and focus on quality. I would also look for ways to improve processes while respecting safety and compliance standards. Supporting the mission means being dependable, ethical, and committed to the team's success, and that is the mindset I would bring. 25. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? In 5 years, I see myself growing within a company where I can continue building my skills, taking on more responsibility, and contributing to meaningful projects. I would like to become highly knowledgeable in my role and be someone my team can rely on for quality work and problem solving. I am also interested in professional development, whether through training, certifications, or leadership opportunities. My goal is not just to have a job, but to build a long-term career where I can make a valuable contribution. Preparing for a Lockheed Martin interview requires more than memorizing basic answers. You need to show professionalism, responsibility, technical ability, teamwork, and respect for safety, security, and compliance. The company looks for candidates who can perform in complex environments where accuracy and ethics matter. Before your interview, study the role carefully, prepare examples from your experience, and practice answering clearly and confidently. Focus on how your skills connect to Lockheed Martin's mission and high standards. With strong preparation, you can present yourself as a reliable, capable, and mission-focused candidate.